May report ang United Nations na matatawag daw na slavery or pangaalipin ang work condition dito sa Canada. Particularly ay sa agriculture stream ng Temporary Foreign Worker Program. Kaya importanteng malaman natin ito guys, lalo na kung kayo ay interesadong mag-apply or nag-apply na at mag-a-apply pa sa agriculture stream dito sa Canada. Ito ay magiging basehan ninyo ng inyong decision making. Kaya stay tuned guys, continue watching and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hello and welcome back guys! Si Ate Menchi po ito. Naghahatid ako sa inyo ng iba't ibang impormasyon tungkol sa Canada na maaari niyong kapulutan ng mga impormasyon. Kung interesado kayo sa ganitong mga paksa, you may consider subscribing to Menchi's Fil-Can Life. You can also share my video sa mga friends and family ninyo. At you can follow me sa ating Facebook page na Menchi's Fil-Can Life. May mga impormasyon din ako dyan tungkol sa coming to Canada. And you may also join our channel and be a member. In that note, I want to say thank you sa ating mga channel members. Hello kay John Canlas, Christopher Maramba, kay Rosa Balabo, Wang Manubag, Epipanya Sasil, kay Annie Joy Estano, Marites Lenihan, Andy Loron, Keep My Experience, Che Vidal Lanado, Listel Belenson, Richel Dumalag, Imelda Leal, JMC, kay Joy Alicando, Marjorie Ramos, Marciano, and Nympha. Thank you guys sa inyong support sa ating channel. So guys, let's go straight sa ating topic. Medyo seryoso po ito sapagkat nagpalabas ang United Nations Rapporteur on Contemporary Forms of Slavery na matapos silang magsagawa ng investigasyon or pagsasaliksik dito sa Canada, they found out na pwedeng tawaging slavery ang nagaganap na takbo ng pagtatrabaho sa agrikultura dito sa Canada. So, bakit ko ito ibibigay sa inyo sa ating video? Sapagkat gusto kong makita nyo ang katotohanan, ang totoong sitwasyon guys. Marami sa inyo ang nagtatanong sa akin kung paano mag-apply as farm worker, harvesting laborer, yung mga nasa dairy farm or iba't ibang trabaho sa agrikultura. At totoo pong marami hanggang sa ngayon guys, maraming trabaho ganyan sa ating job bank. Pero gusto kong makita nyo ang totoo sapagkat may gantong report. We have to know. Dahil ito po ay pwedeng gawin yung basehan, kung kayo ba ay talagang gustong pumunta sa Canada, tutuloy ba kayo. Pero bago ang lahat, atin munang alamin. Particularly guys, ang report na ito ay tungkol sa agriculture stream ng Temporary Foreign Worker Program sa Canada. Naglabas po ng interview ang Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, na itong UN ay kanilang in-interview. Si Mr. Tomoya Obokata ay in-interview po at sinasabi niya doon ang mga paliwanag ng kanyang findings. Siya mismo yung nagpunta dito sa Canada, guys. And I would like to give credit to CBC sa mga clips na ito na galing po sa kanila. So, eto na guys. Panoorin na natin ang unang bahagi ng interview.
Mr. Obokata, please explain to us what you saw during your visit to Canada that led you to the conclusion that this is a breeding ground for different forms of slavery.
Yes, there are so many indicators of forced labor when I visited various places, and by speaking to a number of migrant workers, we've spoken to about close to 100 workers. So the conditions are, for example, excessive working hours, no overtime pay or less than minimum wage, no access to health and social care, excessive surveillance, and sometimes physical and sexual violence. I've heard from workers themselves.
And I want to be clear, this is specifically temporary foreign workers that you were speaking with?
That's right. So these are mainly agricultural stream or low-skill stream under the Temporary Foreign Workers Program.
So guys, take note. Sa ngayon sa report, ay may mga kondisyon daw po ng forced labor. At ang mga ito ay tulad ng excessive hours of work. So, ibig sabihin, mahabang oras ng pagtatrabaho. at walang overtime pay sa mga excessive hours na yan, below the minimum wage, no access to health care, at meron ding mga physical and sexual abuse. Nakakagulat guys malaman ito, di ba? Akala natin ang Canada ay istrikto sa kanilang mga labor laws, sa mga batas tungkol sa pagtatrabaho. Pero may ganito pala mga pangyayari, may mga abuse. Ituloy nating panoorin guys ang interview.
I visited Ottawa, Toronto, Moncton, Vancouver, and Montreal. And in addition to migrant workers themselves, I've also met with, for example, civil society organizations providing support to these workers, as well as trade unions and other non-state parties. And I've also met local, provincial authorities, for example, in British Columbia, New Brunswick, and Ontario, as well as Quebec.
Did these workers feel like they had any rights? Did the employers give you a sense that they were aware of the problems?
Well, I mean, everyone should be guaranteed basic rights, and these are covered by the provincial or territorial employment standards legislation. But information is not there. The workers do not even know what their rights are. And even if they try to exercise, for example, trade union rights, they often met with threat of dismissal and deportation and so on. And one of the issues with these programs is that they're tied to a single employer. So if something like an abuse and exploitation happens, the workers are very reluctant to report because they fear that they might lose their job and then be sent back to their own countries.
Okay guys, so anong sinasabi? Ang mga workers ay hindi nila alam ang mga batas. So siguro hindi nila nakita sa contract kung ano yung sinasabi ng mga rights nila, or hindi talaga sila in-inform ng employer ng mga batas sa pagtatrabaho. May mga batas nga ang Canada, sinasabi doon ni Mr. Tomoya, may mga batas pero hindi alam ng mga empleyado. At isa pa, tahimik na lang sila. Ayaw nilang mag-report dahil takot sila na sila ay matanggal sa trabaho or ma-deport pauwi sa kanilang bansa na hindi pa tapos ang contract. Ituloy natin guys ang panonood.
Well, I think, yes, and the government, the federal and provincial levels, they have stepped up for the protection of rights of workers, but that's in theory. The enforcement of those laws and regulations are not as effective. And labor inspections, yes, okay, they say like maybe a few thousand inspections are happening each year, but I've heard different stories from workers themselves. Oftentimes, these are pre-announced. So that means employers know exactly when they are coming in. So what often happens then is that they ask workers to clean the workplace and leaving their accommodations so that it looks perfect. And sometimes these workers are sent away so that they do not complain to the labor inspectorate. So I've heard this from so many workers. So the reality is different from what the government is claiming. Of course, there are laws and regulations. That the extent to which they're enforced, that raises a huge question mark there.
Ang sabi ni Mr. Tomoya, oo, nakita niya na mayroong mga batas ang Provincial Government of Canada and the Federal Government of Canada. Pero lumilitaw na hindi aktual na naipatutupad ito. Kung nagkakaroon daw po ng mga pagbisita, kasi nagbibisita po ang mga ministry ng labor sa mga workplaces. Pero pag bumisita naman sila, alam na nung employer na may darating na magbibisita. So, syempre, gagawin niya. I-ready na, ito, ang isasagot niyo pag tinanong kayo, ganito, di ba? Maayos ang inyong tulugan, maayos ang inyong tirahan, maayos ang inyong pagtatrabaho. Yan ang nakikita ng mga nagsasagawa ng visit. Kung announced nga ang pagbisita, syempre, yung mga employer ay nakakapaghanda at kumbaga na may make-up nila na ganito ang itsura natin. Huwag kayo magsasabi ng masama, diba? Ng negative. Kumbaga, hindi po nakikita aktual ang sitwasyon ng mga government ministries. Yun ang sinasabi ni Mr. Tomoya.
Mr. Obokata, people will see the report, they will hear you in this interview, and they'll say, Slavery, that's a bit of an exaggeration. We're not whipping people here. We're not abusing people here. These are people who get the privilege of coming to Canada to work here. Those arguments are out there. How do you combat that type of thinking?
Well, the slavery, by definition, depends on exercise of control by employers over employees. Therefore, under certain circumstances, from several or more than several, but the workers I've spoken to, the degree of control is so strong that some instances may amount to actually slavery. I am certain of that. And that at the lower end of the spectrum, we have forced labor. And then the severe form is known as servitude, and the most severe form is slavery. And from what I've heard from various migrant workers, some instances may amount to slavery, the most severe form, because of the way they are controlled by their employers. As I said, constant surveillance, threat, intimidation, violence, being prohibited from leaving their accommodations, and so on. And that, to me, are indicators of slavery itself. So it does exist. And
Nakita natin doon kung paano describe ang slavery or pang-aalipin. Ang pang-alipin daw po ay depende sa exercise of control ng isang employer sa kanya namang mga employees. Kung labis na sinasakal ang karapatan ng mga employees ng isang employer, pwedeng tawaging slavery yan. At nakita sa report na meron pong forced labor, may excessive surveillance o yung mga pagbabawal, may limit ang kanilang movement, yan po yung sinasabi niyang excessive surveillance, at saka yung may threat, may pananakot at intimidation, nakita rin yan sa report, at meron pa rin somewhat violence po. So, ang sabi sa report, pwedeng tawagin niya na slavery or pang-aalipin. Yan. And that's the end of the report po. Thanks to CBC sa kanilang interview na ito. Maraming salamat. So, ano ang ating conclusion sa bagay na ito, guys? Siguro yung mga nag-i-interest na maging worker sa Canada, kahit sabi ninyo, kahit farm worker po, marunong ako, kahit po harvesting, pagpipitas ng gulay, pagpipitas ng prutas, pwede na, basta't magkatrabaho sa Canada. Kayo ba ay na-disappoint sa report na ito? Ha? Well, nakakalungkot din malaman, kahit ako nga, nagulat din po ako, guys, no? Pero ang ating mga conclusions dito ay ang mga sumusunod. Number 1, mabuti na at may report na ganito. Why? Para hindi na kayo ma-shock kung makita ninyo ito kung andito kayo, no? Kung dumating kayo rito. So, it's an awareness para sa ating lahat na posibleng may ganitong pangyayari nga na maranasan kayo. Somehow, alam nyo na kung paano kayo magre-react, no? Another thing, hindi po lahat ng employers ay napuntahan ng reporter. Ibig sabihin, ang talagang hinanap lang niya ay yung may mga violation. Hindi po kasama sa report yung mga sumusunod ng husto sa batas. In fact, binasa ko po yung comment section doon sa CBC report at merong mga nag-comment na mismong employer sila. Ang sabi nila, sa aming small farm, lahat ay tinatrato ng maayos, lahat ay binibigyan ng opportunity, etc. Nasa 100 workers lang po yung na-interview ni Mr. Tomoya. Another conclusion natin dito, guys, now after the report, ito po yung lumabas 2 days ago lang, no? Ngayong early part of September of 2023. After this report, syempre, a-action ang dapat umaksyon dito sa Canada, no? Yung mga kinauukulan. So, maganda na rin may ganitong report. At least makita nila na may ganito talaga nangyayari and they have to act. They have to act on it. So, we have to know our rights. Kahit saan man tayo magpunta, sa Canada man or wherever you go, at kung anong inyong ginagawa, may karapatan po ang bawat isa. So, you have to know your rights. Kung pipirma kayo sa mga contracts, mga job contracts, sa mga employment contracts, etc., basahin nyo rin. Hindi yung okay na, pirma na lang. Kahit anong nakasulat, okay lang. No, you have to know your rights. Kasi hindi palaging smooth sailing ang pangyayari sa buhay natin, guys, no? And ang final comment ko, guys, this is going to help you in your decision making. Ngayon, napanood niyo po ang ganito. Give up na. Give up na ba kayo sa inyong kagustuhan na magtrabaho sa Canada kahit farm worker? Kahit harvesting laborer, sabi niya, pwede na po yan. Pero dahil napanood nyo ito, disappointed na ba kayo at back out na sa inyong decision? Pupunta sa Canada ay hindi rin po basta-basta. May mga challenges along the way at kahit narito na kayo, marami pa ring challenges, guys. Isa na nga po ito, ang mga posibleng kondisyon ng inyong pagtatrabaho. Kaya this will help you in your decision making. It's all up to you, guys. Nasa sa inyo pong mga kamay ngayon ang pagdedesisyon kung kayo ay tutuloy pa sa inyong mga plano to go to Canada to work or to settle or to visit, to study, or in whatever na mga programang gusto ninyong applyan, guys. Sana po ay nagustuhan ninyo ang ating presentation today. At sana ay nakapaghatid ako ng kaunting kaalaman sa inyo. Ang totoong nagaganap po sa Canada ay hindi itinatago. Dapat ay ipinapaalam sa inyong lahat. Okay? Thank you very much sa inyo na mga nanood, on constant viewers ko, and lahat ng subscriber, maraming salamat. At sa inyo na mga channel members, thank you very much po sa inyong lahat. Hello kay John Canlas, Christopher Maramba, kay Rosa Balabo, Buang Manubag, Epipanya Sasil, kay Annie Joy Estano, Marites Lenihan, Andelo Ron, Keep My Experience, Che Vidal Lanado, Lisel Belenson, Richel Dumalag, Imelda Leal, JMC, kay Joy Alicando, Marjorie Ramos, Marciano, and Nympha. Thank you guys sa inyong support sa ating channel. Yan na muna guys. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood. Sa ating mention po ito. Until next time guys. Bye everybody!